Good evening. Welcome to the November 2nd, 2016 Board of Education meeting. We've been in executive session since 6 p.m. discussing personnel matter. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any participation in government students here tonight? Some PIC students? Okay. Your requirement is to stay till 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, we'll take a break, and you need to come up at that point to the tables here. There's sign-out sheets, and if you have any sheets yourself that you need any of the board members to sign, we'll do it at that time. And if the meeting gets done earlier, just come up at that time. Okay. Introductions? Dave Hurst.
Joanne Cunningham.
Charmaine Ridgesinger,
Jody Monroe.
Matt Downey.
Lynn Lenhart.
Michael Cooper.
Jonathan Fishbein.
And Judy Kehoe.
First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the October 19th, 2016 regular board meeting.
Moved. Second.
That's a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? That item carries. Do we have a representative from the Student Senate with us tonight? No? Okay. Maybe they'll come in a little later on. If they do, we'll go back to that item. Next, the superintendent's report. Ms. Monroe?
Thank you, Mr. Downey. First, I'd like to ask Ms. Kehoe to just give the board a brief update on the veterans exemption and on something we've been working with the town on to clarify on that issue.
Yes. The school district, as you may recall, had adopted the alternative veterans exemption back in January of 2015, which granted an additional benefit for school tax purposes for veterans. And at the time, we had indicated that once the board approved that, it would be automatically flowing through to the veterans on their school tax bills. We subsequently discovered, when we got a call from a veteran who wondered where his exemption was, why did it not appear on his bill? In working through that with the town and with the New York State Division of Veterans Affairs, we discovered that there was another class of veterans benefits, the eligible funds category, and these veterans did not have access to that benefit initially because of guidance from the Office of Real Property Tax Services. They had said you could not have both an alternative veterans exemption and the eligible funds exemption. We then found out that the state clarified that guidance and indicated that veterans could have both the eligible funds on their property taxes and the alternative veterans exemption. Unfortunately, that clarification didn't get announced until it was too late for them to have that benefit on the fall 2016 tax bills. So we wanted to get the message out to everybody so that they could take the steps that they needed in order to get that on future tax bills. So the town and the school district issued a letter to the 120 veterans who were affected by this, and they should have all received that letter now. We worked out a simplified application process that they will submit that to the town of Bethlehem assessor or to the New Scotland town assessor. And then once that's in place, before March 1st, the taxable status date for this coming year, then that benefit will be available to them on their school taxes. We also took some steps to alert other business officials by communicating that to the New York State Association of School Business Officials, and we've also reached out to our state legislative offices to flag that for them as well. So it's in motion. I will follow through with the town just to make sure that we're getting a good response rate, and if we aren't, we can follow up with another mailing just to make sure that that's able to come their way.
Thank you.
Next year.
Judy,
Yeah.
is there any appeal method that they can use to try to get the exemption for this year, since that they were really not given all the information by the state that they needed?
There's nothing that the town or the school district can do on that because, again, the application wasn't filed by that taxable status date and the bills have already gone out for everybody else. So the only possible recourse might be if the state was willing to do something. We had suggested that they might want to consider some kind of a rebate check for the folks that are affected. It really is a statewide issue. It would only apply in communities where you have veterans getting the eligible funds exemption and where their school districts have approved the alternative veterans exemption. So it's a smaller subset. The state has access to that information, and they could come up with an estimate of how much that would cost. What we would need would be willing legislators to make that happen. But at the local level, it's beyond our control at this point.
Have you reached out to local legislators like, Pat Fahey?
Yes, I spoke with Pat Fahey's office, I spoke with Steve McLaughlin's office, and John Clarkson was reaching out to Neil Breslin's office. So we've been working the phones, trying to bring that to their attention.
Thank you, Judy. A couple other things I wanted to mention. One is a follow-up discussion. Back in the summer, there were some parents who came to the board and wanted the board to consider a discussion about starting the high school later in the day. And at that time, we had decided that I would bring that to the Capital Region Superintendent's Group because it's a much larger issue than just one school district to address for a variety of reasons. That was discussed at the October meeting of the Capital Region Group. There was not a huge widespread interest. There were some districts that there had been more discussion than others, and that's on the agenda again for the November meeting of that same group. Also, I wanted to let the board know I did have a meeting with some students at the high school last week, and today actually I sent out a little Q&A on some of the discussions that we had. Some of the issues that were brought up were HAP policy, kind of related to the dress code, library procedures, some transcript questions, transportation questions, parking passes, and off-campus privileges. So I'll provide the board with that Q&A in your updates so you can see. Many of them were questions students asked, the discussion, and then some follow-up items that would be brought up with either administrators or supervisors, depending upon the topics. I also met with some middle school students this morning and had similar conversations. There was a little bit more focused. Their big issues tended to be around bullying and student interpersonal skills, and they actually have some student groups that are working on those issues. So they kind of have these subgroups working on various topics they're interested in, and that tended to be one that a lot of students were working on, so that was a good discussion as well. And finally, I'd like to, tonight we're going to be recognizing our school board members. It is school board recognition time of the year. And I personally want to thank the 7 board members who are here, although Christine is not here tonight, unfortunately. But all of you just devote a tremendous amount of time to your role as board members and really do it in all hours of the evenings, many a nights, and do it for the good of the students and the educational programs in the district. So I just want to take a moment to thank all of you, and it's really a pleasure working with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question about the middle school meeting.
Sure.
So you said they talked about bullying. Was there any kind of consistent theme or,
Mostly about, they had some questions about what district-wide are we doing on issues related to bullying or student issues? And then we spoke more about what they could do in their roles as students to, in different roles. If they witness students being mistreated, things like that, how could they take more active roles? And then how could they get that message across to the larger student body? So,
thank you.
yep.
Jody, on the questionnaire for the high school follow-up
Yep.
with that group, Did that go out to all students?
Today it
or-
went out to all students
okay.
via, even, I mean, obviously, not all students attended, but
Right.
it went out so every student could see what the discussions were about. And then if there was some interest, for example, in the hat issue or the dress code, there is a group of students in that summer leadership conference that would involve high school, middle school. That was one of the groups that were identified as an interest, but no students had actually come forward to work on that. So I put in there how they could start to do that, or how they could be involved in that. There's also a group that's actually working on the parking lot and and parking passes, so
And
there's
what were
some.
they looking for with respect to
Well,
parking?
why is it so expensive to park?
Okay.
There's some concerns about traffic flow in general. So there is a subgroup already working on that particular area and working with some of the administrators. So if other students are interested in that topic, they could reach out to one of the administrators to either find out when meetings are, or if they're not able to attend meetings, there's shared Google Docs that they can participate in discussions with. So I provided some of that information that just, people may not be aware of that process.
And how often are you going to do these meetings?
I'd
do you
like to
think?
do it 2 or 3 times a year.
That's great.
I think it was fun for me, so,
I
yeah.
would encourage, there's a lot of students here, I would encourage you guys to attend those meetings. It's a great, great opportunity to sit with our superintendent and talk through some of what's on your mind. So there's a lot of folks out there. Make sure you take advantage.
Yeah, it's good, thank you. That's my report, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I'll mention about that, okay. Next is the board updates, and part of that is, Ms. Monroe had mentioned, is the board is being recognized this week. And it's been a tradition here at Bethlehem that every year, each board member receives a stack of books that has their name within the book, and it is given to a particular school within the district. So I would invite the board members to speak about their particular books. Joanne?
Oh, sure. My books are going to Eagle Elementary, and they look like a very fine group of books that I'm very intrigued. I wish I had time to read them. One is called Rude Cakes. That intrigues me a great deal. One is called Underworld, Exploring the Secret World Beneath Your Feet. This sounds like it's right up my alley. It's based on the song by Bob Marley, who I really love, which is called One Love. I didn't sing it for you, so be glad about that. Also a book called Hector and Hummingbird, a book called Be a Friend, which looks very nice. And the last book is something I've heard in my car many times, Are We There Yet? So great books, and thank you. This is a real treat that we get to donate these to the schools, so appreciate it.
My books are going to Hammer Grail, and there's a wide range of topics and also, I'd say, levels. So some are for young students. There's one called 20 Yawns by a Caldecott and a Pulitzer Prize winner. One is on optical illusions, and there's plenty of illustrations on this one, so it's a lot of fun. There's the Totally Secret by Ballet Cat. Again, looks like for younger audiences. And then for maybe 4th and 5th graders, The Great Gilly Hopkins, which apparently is also a movie. And then the last one is Pete the Cat's Groovy Guide to Life. And there's some quotes by famous people, and then Pete translates them. Like, for example, Henry Ford said, "When everything seems to be going against you, remember that an airplane takes off against the wind, not with it." And the cat says, "Groovy, if you try, you can fly." So, I like this one. Thank you.
Jonathan?
My books go to the high school, and it's a rather eclectic group. This is the part where you laugh, and actually, I'm familiar with this book. It is, another title could be How to Fail Your Way to Success and Enjoy the Ride. Fair Play, how LGBT athletes are claiming their rightful place in sports, quite timely. The Lie Tree might be appropriate this time of year. Humans of New York. This is a wonderful picture book, and when I say picture, there's a lot of text in it, but the pictures are absolutely stunning. And this is another book I'm familiar with, 100 Buildings of New York, and the cover is the Flatiron Building, just one of the 100. It is a unique book and something I think anybody that picks it up will have a fun time with, so thank you.
For those who are interested, the Humans of New York is actually a blog, and this young man goes around New York City photographing everyday people and then puts up their stories, so. He was just at UAlbany a week or so ago. My books, I'm very proud to say, are going to Slingerland's Elementary. The first book is Who is Malala Yousafzai? I hope I didn't mangle her name. She's the young woman who was shot by the Taliban and has devoted her life to the cause of peace, so very important book. A book called Towers Falling. Another book called Booked, and the author of this won the Newbery Medal for an earlier book. I Am Pan. Lily Learns About Wants and Needs, very important. And lastly, Lion Lessons.
Okay, my books this year are going to Glenmont Elementary. The first one is Honey. So I was trying to figure out whether it was about the honey dripping or the cat or the dog that's trying to lick it as it comes down. But anyhow, the theme of the book is that for a girl like Melody and a dog like Mo, life can be both sticky and sweet. So it sounds interesting. This is there are a series of books about the Penderwicks, and this is the Penderwicks in spring. So I guess this is maybe the fourth book in a series, and she is a New York Times bestselling author. Big Battles of World War II. I imagine those can be interesting to look at. I think there are probably more pictures in here than anything else, but they look like they're genuine pictures from World War II. And this is an interesting question. It talks about 6 questions of American history, and it says, when did George Washington fight his first military battle? You know, we always think about the American Revolution, but, you know, it was really during the French and Indian War. So there are a series of other questions in here, too. The little snow plow. That looks interesting to read, too. And I wonder if they're going to have to be used a lot this year.
Kids are hoping so.
And we're past this, but it could still be interesting. School's first day of school. And, you know, just talking about what happens on the first day. So anyhow, I'm very pleased again to have these go to Glenmont, and I hope everyone enjoys them.
My books are going to the middle school. I have a variety of books. The first one being Taking Action to Improve Schools by Sabina Lawson. I think it's apropos with the way you talked about how the kids wanted to, be involved and help with the bullying and whatnot. Taking action to help the environment. I think that'd be very good for the middle school too. Faster, Higher, Smarter, Bright Ideas that Transform Sports by Simon Shapiro. Another one dealing with the environment. Renewable Energy, Discovering the Fuel of the Future with 20 projects. And then the last book being Super Gear, Nanotechnology and Sports Teams, and Sports Team Up. So how appropriate here in the Capital District area. So, and I would like to thank my wife here, who's here tonight. She's been coming for several years. When we do this recognition, I've been on the board for 9 years, and it's a great tradition that the board does here. And I truly appreciate the administration doing this for us, and we're able to kind of leave a mark in each of the schools every year. So that's a nice thing.
I was remiss in not noting that my wife Laura is also
Yeah, too.
here.
Okay.
I'll hear about it when I get home.
Can I just
But
introduce
thank you.
Christine's books?
Yes, oh, yeah, yeah.
Mrs. Beck could not be here this evening, but her books are going to Ellesmere, and it's a range of books, some nonfiction, National Basketball Association, Amazing Elephants, Hillary Rodham Clinton, This one, I believe, is fiction. It's Franken Crayon and Are We There Yet? These are all going to Ellesmere on behalf of Mrs. Beck's service.
And a couple other things. I think we wanted to note that congratulations to the men's varsity soccer team. They're moving on to regional sectional play on Saturday, I believe, out at Fulton High School. They'll be out near Syracuse. The girls last night unfortunately didn't win, but have had a great season, the girls soccer, and I believe also the girls field hockey. had a
Into the
great season.
semis.
Semifinals,
And
so,
I think boys volleyball are going into the semis.
going into semifinals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is coming. It's great.
So congratulations to all the fall sport teams and the successful season they've had, too, so.
Also, out on display as we were walking in were the display of pictures that were at the NISBA convention last week. I mean, I regret not being able to be there, but the pictures are beautiful out there. So when you leave the meeting, you can see them right on the left in the showcase.
And one other thing I'd like to add is, like I mentioned, I've been on the board 9 years. It's a fabulous opportunity to serve the community. I would encourage anyone to step forward and take the opportunity to serve the community. I know myself, my term is up in June. I will not be rerunning again in May, so I'd like to put that out there and encourage anyone in the community to please run. It's a good opportunity to serve, and it's very rewarding, too. So.
Yeah, Melanie's going to present, but do you have any other committee reports?
No, I don't think we have any other committee reports, no audit committee.
Oh,
really.
actually, I do.
Yeah.
For general board reports, I watched the tape of the last meeting because I was unable to attend because of work, and I just want to give my own congratulations to James Dickinson. I saw him being recognized on the tape, and I think since that meeting, I opened Time Magazine, and his picture was there as being recognized as one of the top innovative teenagers in the country. So congratulations to him. And also, I was part of the first meeting for the district safety team. I'm not sure I'm using the correct title. There's a whole bunch of different safety teams I'm learning. And I'm really looking forward to subsequent meetings. We're really doing a lot of collaboration and getting to know the different levels of safety that exist in the district. And I look forward to working with that group over the course of the year.
So Melanie's going to.
Okay, I guess we're still going to continue on with the board being recognized, so it's all about us tonight. No.
Well, I also have, some of our student artists are here tonight to say thank you as well. We have on your tables, you will find some note cards that our students made. So on there represents many of the pieces that the students created. And on each one of them, you'll find the student's name on the back of them. And also, we're going to call up each individual student here. Many of them could be with us tonight, so we're going to give them their original artwork back. And these all are from our summer show, which was machines. We looked at some of the STEAM kind of things that we wanted to use with the pieces. So you'll see some gears, some robots in here, some different tools that were being used. So let me just call up the students here. And we wanted to make sure that we recognized each one of them. So tonight I have Grace Fitzgerald. So I'm going to have Grace come up and grab her artwork from up here. And then we're hoping we can get some pictures with all of you afterwards, too. Grace is in 10th grade. She did this in her studio and art class last year. And we also have here tonight Ellie Pocabla. And if I say anything wrong, correct me. Did I say that right? Pocabla? All right, so Ellie, I'm going to have you come right over here and grab your artwork. Congratulations, Ellie. And we have Max Waldemeyer. Congratulations, Max. And don't go too far, Grace. We're going to take some pictures with you. And Stella Convertino. This was one of my favorite ones, too. I liked the way the gears were kind of moving in the head there. And we have Chloe Kozik. And Jacob Bloom. Congratulations, Jacob. Go right over there and get your certificate and your artwork. Congratulations. And we have Marissa Sayers and Liam Ferris. Congratulations, Marissa. Marissa was one of my students last year, so she's special to my heart. And I also have Olivia Dodge. Congratulations, Olivia. And Allison Austin. Congratulations, Allie. and Nora Icasalo. Congratulations, Nora. And we also have Ava Gasson. And that one's Nora's. All right, so all of our students worked very hard this year working on their pieces. So we just wanted to make sure that we thanked you for all your hard work this year with the token of these artistic gifts for you. So we're hoping maybe you could take a picture with our student artists here tonight. Do you guys want to come on over?
Yes. Very good, thanks.
There you go, perfect. General area. Yeah. Scooch it a little bit on that side. Good. And can we let parents take pictures?
Don't go anywhere, like, your parents.
So if parents want to come up and take a picture of your kids too, we invite you up too. Of course they do.
That looks very much like my stand. No, it doesn't. I made the stand. Seventh grade workshop. I treasure the skating club, and I'm doing like 20, 30 checks. Bang, 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 bang. So much
Control of your signature stamp.
I almost got rid of it when I was in law school. I thought that the danger.
Nobody wants to stay, yeah.
Congratulations again to all the students, and what a fine artwork they've done. Okay, moving on. Next item is recognition of visitors. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on an agenda item, now would be the time. Not seeing anyone, we'll move on. Finance, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following finance action items 1 through 3.
So moved. Second.
That's a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That item carries. Item 9, profession.
Do you want to mention anything about the Garden Bistro?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
'cause
Were
that's
they
what-
going to be here tonight?
I thought they were, yeah.
Is there a representative from Garden Bistro? I know they're making a donation tonight as part of a, okay. Okay. Well, for the month of October, Garden Bistro had hooked up with the school district and had, from each of the school gardens within the district, they used produce and used it in each of their special meals that they prepared each Tuesday. They ran a special, a fixed price for $24, I believe it was. You got a salad and an entree and dessert. And as I said, in each of those components of the meal, they used some products from the school, whether it be beets or potatoes or different herbs and spices that they use. I know my wife and I went one Tuesday night. It was a phenomenal meal. It was great. And actually, the board had a retreat last night, and we were able to be supplied with meals from the Garden Bistro. And as part of that month-long celebration on Tuesday, part of the proceeds from their sales on Tuesday night are going to be donated back to the school district to put back into our garden program, community garden program. So, Mr. Warford, would you like to add anything to it? I know you were instrumental probably in getting this established, and
It was, it was a great collaboration with a local business and our school gardens and high school, Ellesmere Elementary, Eagle, Hammer Grail, all contributed vegetables. The high school, Nick Petrocelli, so everybody grew some particular vegetables ready to be harvested at this particular time, and it worked out fantastic. So we're hoping to continue that collaboration in the future and maybe even expand on it. And one of the goals with collaborating with businesses was to establish, plus I think we have either 6 or 7 high school students that work at the Garden Bistro that helped. One student stopped me today and said he helped prepare the food for the garden meals. So
Right.
One of the goals was to collaborate with local businesses, and so that seems to be happening, and we want to even expand that next year. So thank you to Garden Bistro.
yes, thank you. All right. So, and if they do happen to come in, let us know, and we'll take the time and recognize them at that point. Item number 9, professional personnel. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following professional personnel action items 1 through 5.
Second.
That's it for a second. Any discussion?
Just for asking Ms. Monroe to clarify, just for the public who may see this on the temporary coaching license on the agenda, if you could just clarify. for the
Sure.
public.
So coaches are required to meet certain criteria, classes, first aid, CPR. So at the time when we did the agenda, there were a couple coaches that still needed their CPR and first aid, which happened last weekend. And in order to get them appointed prior to the winter sports season beginning, and we did get confirmation they completed those.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sure.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? That item carries. Item number 10, support personnel. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following support staff action items 1 through 11.
So moved.
First and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? That item carries. Item number 11, other action items. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following action items 1 through 3.
So moved. Second.
That's the first and second. Any discussion? I just would, item number 3 is where the board is approving our town to sponsor the annual fireworks at the middle school. If you haven't ever gone to it, I would encourage you to go on Thanksgiving Eve, that Wednesday night. They do a phenomenal job. It's a great display. It's a real community event. So I would encourage everybody to attend that. And then the turkey trot on Thursday before you have your big meal, too. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? That item carries. Recognition of visitors. At this point, the board would recognize anyone who'd like to address us on a non-agenda item. There being anyone? The pig students are glad. Future meetings. Our next Board of Education meeting will be Wednesday, November 16th. Anticipated executive session start time of 6 p.m., regular board meeting at 7 p.m. That meeting will be at Hamel Girl Elementary School. The district and board a few years ago established a process where we rotate the meetings around so that at least we visit every school every year for one meeting at least. So the next meeting will be at Hamel Girl, and we look forward to our time there. The next meeting then there on November 29th, we will be having our construction bond vote. Please, everybody, please come out and vote. A newsletter will be going out to the community to explain what we would be spending the money on and the projects included in that. That should be going out within the next 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, just before the vote,
Yep.
yeah.
And if anyone is going to be out of town, please look at our website. It's the process for which you can get an absentee ballot. So we encourage everybody to get a ballot if they'll be out of town, and on the day of the vote, to vote. Voting will be from 9 a.m., or, excuse me, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. here at the high school, regular location where we do our annual
Yes.
meeting vote, so. And then Wednesday, December 7th, is our next Board of Education meeting. Again, a 6 p.m. anticipated executive session with a 7 p.m. regular board meeting. That meeting will be here at the Library and Media Center at the high school. We do not have a need to go into executive session.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
That's it for a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. We're adjourned. Big students, you lucked out. You're done. Just come up and sign out.